If you're struggling to lose weight, it's not your fault. Your metabolism has been hijacked. This diet flips your fat-burning switch in 24 hours and melts up to 1 pound of fat per day. No counting, no cardio, no suffering. The science behind it is so simple, it almost feels illegal. If you follow what I'm about to show you, your body will never be the same again. Let's start with your easy 3-step fat melting protocol. Let's skip the fluff and go right into what actually works. Step number 1, you're going to practice a 20-4 fasting schedule. This means for 20 hours, you're in a fasted state. And then you're gonna eat within a 4-hour window. I'll give you an example of what this would look like on your schedule. You're finished eating dinner at 6 p.m. and you fast until 2 p.m. the next day, meaning your eating window is between 2 p.m. and 6 p.m., 4 hours. During your 20 hours, you're not eating food. You're not raising inflammation. You're not raising glucose and insulin. You're having water, black coffee, green tea, or minerals. Nothing that spikes insulin. Here's why this works so efficiently. When you stop grazing in between meals and when you have all of your meals within a certain window, you're giving your body time without food. Insulin, which is the only hormone inside of your body that signals fat storage, I want you to think of insulin as an energy sensor, that drops hour after hour during that 20-hour fast. And that's the secret to tapping into stubborn fat for fuel. It is impossible to burn visceral fat, belly fat, love handle fat when insulin levels are high. When insulin levels are high, you're not burning fat for fuel, you're burning food and sugar for fuel. So always remember, my friend, high insulin, fat storage, low insulin, fat burning. So within those 18-20 hours of a fast, your liver starts turning fat into ketones. Ketones are a very powerful, clean energy source that fuels your brain, protects your muscles, and one of the coolest things that you probably have never heard before, those ketones talk, they communicate directly with the mitochondria within your cells. Now, if you remember from biology class, mitochondria are little battery packs within your cells. They are very important for fat loss. The healthier your mitochondria, the more energy you produce. It's called ATPs, the energy. The more energy you produce, the more calories your body burns. Sitting on the couch, your resting metabolic rate goes up. Here's the cool thing about ketones. When ketones are circulating in your bloodstream, like around the 18 to 20 hour mark of this fast, it is signaling to those mitochondria to create healthier new mitochondria. This is called mitochondrial biogenesis, essentially the birth of new mitochondria. Why is this important? Well, what's really interesting is that ketones will let your mitochondria produce 400% more energy than when you're in a sugar-burning fed state. That's right. Let me unpack that real quick one more time. When you're burning sugar, you're producing about 32 ATP molecules, these energy molecules. When you're burning fat and using ketones, it's over 130 ATP molecules. So what does that do for you? You have more mental clarity, more energy, and you're burning more fat. So a lot of people think, Ben, I can't fast for 18, 20 hours. This sounds crazy. Oh, as you do this, you're going to actually notice you feel better, sharper, more mental clarity, calmer and lighter. Why? Because now you're burning your own fat for energy. That's just step 1. Let's discuss step 2. When your eating window opens up, don't undo your progress. Eat like a human was designed to eat. You're going to have 1 or 2 meals within that 4-hour window. But here's the thing. Those meals should still be insulin friendly, whole food sourced meals, and anti-inflammatory meals. So these are going to include the following proteins and fats: grass-fed beef and lamb, bison, eggs with the yolk, wild-caught salmon, wild-caught sardines, and additional healthy fats like avocado, coconut oil, butter, ghee, beef tallow, olive oil. These are healthy anti-inflammatory fats. What you don't want to consume during your eating window, you don't want sugar, so no sugar, no grains, and absolutely no seed oils. They're also called vegetable oils. These vegetable oils are highly inflammatory. While they don't really spike insulin directly, indirectly over time, they create inflammation, which then causes your insulin levels to rise because of cellular inflammation. So you want to avoid these 8 fats at all costs during your eating window so you can get the maximum results here. We have canola oil, called rapeseed oil in the UK, corn oil, cottonseed oil, soybean, safflower, sunflower oil, rice bran oil, and grapeseed oil. These are 8 fats to avoid. There's an additional fat that people think is healthy and helping them with weight loss, and it's actually the opposite, and that's going to be fish oil. Fish oil is also inflammatory and unstable, and I would avoid it. Instead, you want to eat small, fatty fish that's wild caught. The SMASH acronym is the best way to get your EPA and DHA, which people want to get from fish oil, but they don't understand they're getting the rancidity of that. So the SMASH acronym includes sardines, mackerel, anchovies, salmon, and herring. Those are great options. Eat that once or twice a week to get all those anti-inflammatory fats. It's important to remove these bad fats because they destroy your mitochondria, they inflame your cells, they make it harder to fast, and they block fat from leaving your body. When you eat real food, you're teaching your metabolism to work with you, for you, not against you. It's also important during your 4-hour window to consume at least 40 grams of protein at each of those meals. Now, if you just had one meal, then it's at least 40 grams of protein. If you have 2 meals, then you want at least 40 grams of protein at each meal, which is 80 grams. The reason why is because that's going to stimulate something called muscle protein synthesis, which is important to get during your eating window. So just keep that in mind, 40 grams of protein at least at each of those meals. And the reason why is because protein helps to build lean muscle, which is your body's sponge for absorbing glucose, which means you're more insulin sensitive. It also helps support your resting metabolic rate where you burn more fat. The healthy fats keep insulin low and keep you full and satiated. You'll feel full for hours, no cravings, no crashes, no guilt. Remember, this isn't starvation. This is metabolic restoration. Okay, step number 3 here. No eating after sunset. This might be the most underrated rule. When you eat late at night, you spike insulin right when you're supposed to be producing melatonin. These two hormones, we'll say, are enemies. They oppose each other. When melatonin is up, your body is supposed to rest and repair, not digest and store. So by finishing your last meal before sunset, you let growth hormone peak overnight, and you wake up in deep fat burning mode. Growth hormone is one of the probably 8 most important fat-burning hormones your body produces. When you eat too close to bed, it suppresses melatonin and suppresses growth hormone, and you're gonna wake up feeling hungrier and a little foggy. Look, this one change can flatten your belly faster than any workout. Imagine this, while everyone else is snacking, watching Netflix at 10 p.m., your body is detoxing, repairing, and melting fat in your sleep. Now, let's connect the dots here. You lose fat not by eating less, but by eating less often. Each time you snack, insulin spikes. As long as insulin is high, you're storing fat, not burning it. That's why traditional low-calorie diets fail long-term. They keep you grazing all day, keeping insulin high. You feel miserable, hungry, and trapped in storage mode. But when you fast and fuel with real food, insulin drops. Inflammation subdues, and your cells remember how to burn fat again. It's like rebooting your metabolism's operating system within days. This isn't a gimmick, my friend. This is biochemistry 101. You're simply using human design the way God intended. So here's what's going to happen in just 3 days after following this simple 3-step protocol. Day 1, you might get some hunger waves, but ride those waves. So your body's transitioning from sugar burning to fat burning. Insulin starts falling. So we have a hormone in the body called ghrelin. Ghrelin, I call the gremlin hormone because when it's around, your stomach growls and it is uncomfortable. You feel like I need to go eat something. But here is the most important thing I want you to understand about the hormone ghrelin and all of your hormones. Hormones are pulsatile. They pulse up and go back down, including the hunger hormone. So if you feel hungry during the 14-hour of this fast, 18-hour of the fast, keep yourself distracted, drink some water and sea salt. After about 10 or 15 minutes, that hunger hormone drops back to baseline and it's gone. Hunger is not a bad thing. And here's the cool thing. When you develop the discipline of keeping your fast going, even in the face of cyclical hunger, that discipline transfers to other areas of your life. It's actually completely normal to have hunger pangs, ride that wave, and keep going. On day 2, here's what you're gonna notice. Ketones rise. So you'll notice mental clarity, energy, and reduced bloating. Your liver is officially flipping the switch to use fat as fuel instead of sugar. On day 3, you'll wake up lighter. Most people report 1 to 5 pounds gone in the first 3 days, not from dehydration, but from sugar stored release, which is called glycogen release, and inflammation reduction. And you're not losing muscle because you're getting enough protein. You're gaining control. Your mitochondria awaken. Your hormones rebalance. And your metabolism starts working with you instead of against you, all in the first 3 days. But here's the brutal truth. Most people are trying to burn fat with broken chemistry. They wake up and eat breakfast loaded with carbohydrates and seed oils. They snack all day and finish the night with dessert. That's about 16 hours of insulin spikes and 0 hours of fat burning. Then they blame their age, genetics, or slow metabolism. But the problem isn't you, it's the food system and bad advice. Once you take back control of your eating window and clean up your fats and eat real food, the body naturally shifts back into fat burning freedom. I don't care if you're 35 watching or listening to this or 85, you will notice a difference within days. Now, it's important to address the questions on this topic and talk about a few caveats here. Before I get there, I want to give you a valuable resource to even enhance your results here. It's called my Keto Egg Fast Protocol. If you've tried everything to lose those last 10 pounds, nothing is working. Stop what you're doing. This simple egg-based protocol has helped thousands of my students torch fat, cut cravings, and drop up to 10 pounds in just 7 days. No starving, no tracking, no BS. I would recommend you follow this protocol after what you just learned in this lesson. See, it works by hacking your metabolism using eggs, healthy fats, and strategic intermittent fasting to put your body in deep fat burning mode. This is metabolic warfare, and it's free. Simply click the first link in the description box below, or if you're watching on YouTube, scan the QR code on the screen to download your free guide right now. You're just 7 days away from seeing real change in the mirror. Now let's address the questions and the nuances here. Can I still take supplements or electrolytes during the fasting window, or do they break a fast? I actually think it's really important for you to take electrolytes, sea salt, minerals during the fast, because what's going to happen here as you go from sugar burning to fat burning, you're going to shed a lot of excess water weight, which is great. You're going to feel lighter, look lighter, feel less puffy. But there's sort of this diuresis process happening with the kidneys where it dumps a lot of electrolytes. And if that happens too fast, you could feel off during this transition. But the solution is to just drink high quality electrolytes or minerals or sea salt with water throughout the fast. It does not break a fast. Supplements will not break a fast, but typically I would avoid any fat soluble vitamins during a fast, like any vitamins that contain or supplements that contain vitamins A, D, E, and K. Have that with the meal for absorption. But here's what I would recommend. Redmond's Relight electrolytes with water throughout the fast could really mitigate or help you transition smoothly. And if you go to ketocampsalt.com and use the coupon code Azadi, you could get their products. What if I work out in the morning? Should I train fasted or wait until my eating window opens? Training fasted will accelerate your results. However, if you're a sugar burner and you really haven't done much fasting or low carb, I would not recommend you do a fasted workout during this first 3 days of the protocol. If you're already a seasoned faster, you've been doing intermittent fasting, you're eating somewhat low carb, then you could go ahead and do it, but it depends on where you're at in your metabolic journey here. What's the difference between this protocol and a OMAD 1 meal a day protocol? 1 meal a day, you're eating essentially within a 1 hour window, 30-minute window. This protocol is a 4-hour window. And ideally, you want to have about 2 meals. And the reason why we open it up a little bit, why I like this more than an OMAD protocol, is because it gives you enough room to get more protein, which is the key here. The goal is to be fasted and get the autophagy, cellular cleaning up process, fat loss, ketones, and then have a 4-hour window where you're feasting and getting enough protein. It's hard to do that with OMAD, especially long term. Can I drink coffee with MCT oil, butter, or cream during the fast, or does that stop fat burning? Those technically do not break a fast for most people. However, I want you to keep in mind your metabolism does need to burn the calories from the MCT oil, the butter, or the cream before it goes back to burning your stored calories, which is your body fat. So it could slightly slow down fat loss. However, if it's going to help you finish that 20-hour fast and you need it to function and feel great, go for it. You're still getting a lot of the benefits, maybe 10, 15% less fat loss with those items in your coffee. How long can I safely do the 1 pound per day protocol? Is this sustainable long-term? I would do it for 7 days, not longer than that. And then I would follow that egg fast protocol I spoke about. Again, you could go to the first link in the description box below to download that and do that after this protocol. How can I tell if my body's actually in fat burning mode or producing ketones? Well, you'll notice that you're visibly leaner. Wake up in the morning, look at your stomach. You're going to notice a slimmer waistline. You're going to notice your clothes are fitting better, more mental clarity and energy. But the only way to know if you're in ketosis is to measure your blood ketones. Now, you can measure urine and breath. I'm just not a huge fan of those measurements. I'm more of a fan of the blood ketone measurement. So I use a company called 𝙄𝙉𝙏𝑀ojo. I recommend this to all of my Fat Loss Academy students. They use 𝙄𝙉𝙏𝑀ojo. You don't have to use it, but it is an option and it does get you some data. And 𝙄𝙉𝙏𝑀ojo, how it works, it's a device that you get shipped to your house, and it comes with a strip, 2 different strips, glucose strips, ketone strips. And then it comes with the lancet. So you prick your finger with the lancet, it draws a little bit of some blood, then you grab a ketone strip, put the blood on the ketone strip, put that ketone strip in the meter, and if that meter shows 0.5 or higher, and it's measuring millimoles per liter, 0.5 or higher, you're in ketosis, you're burning fat instead of sugar. I'd also recommend using the same blood for the glucose strip right after. And in a fast, your glucose, what's considered optimal fat burning state, should be between 70 and 90 milligrams per deciliters. And the 𝙄𝙉𝙏𝑀ojo will show you where you're at with both those measurements. You could get the 𝙄𝙉𝙏𝑀ojo device over at ketocampmachine.com. That's the protocol. Follow it. Come back here if you're watching on YouTube and let me know how it goes for you. Maybe do it with a friend or a colleague. Share this episode with them. Thank you for watching and thank you for listening. And hey, if you love this lesson, I got to share with you something that doctors hate. It's a hack that destroys cortisol in 5 minutes, lowers inflammation, and lets you burn fat. Just published a lesson outlining this 5-minute hack. Here's a clip from that lesson. Then click the video on the screen and I'll see you in that next lesson. You see, we spend so much time chasing pills, potions, gadgets, quick fixes, while the most powerful stress-destroying tool has been hiding in plain sight. And doctors won't tell you about it because there's no profit to be made. High levels of cortisol, the stress hormone, will create belly fat and inflammation. It'll also weaken your immune system.